under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Preble Town Board meeting of May 8th, 2017. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections to the minutes of April 10th?
I make a motion, we accept the minutes as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. This time, we'd like to introduce Mike Falls from Homer Schools. Mike?
Good evening, folks. Thank you for having us tonight. We'd like to present our proposed 17 and 18 budget. And as Bernie Zola gets things set up, we do have some board members here this evening. Martin Sweeney, Luke Marinas, and Joaquin Lira are here representing the board. The superintendent sends her apologies. She wasn't able to be here this evening. But we wanted to make a point to say thank you. Our kids are out playing on the Preble ball field tonight. So wish it was a little bit warmer for a ball game tonight, but we really do appreciate the community's investment in working with the district and doing something great for our kids out there. So we wanted to make sure we pass that along to you. Just a quick overview of our budget. As in any municipal budget, we have our expenses and our revenues, and our goal is to balance them every year. Our money going out, our biggest, we are a people-centered business, so our salaries and benefits are going to really occupy the largest amount of our expense. Our revenues, we have state funds, federal funds, property taxes, and other miscellaneous incomes, and we'll cover that in this presentation. So again, state funds, we have in the form of grants and state aid. Federal funds, that's only about 5% of our school funding, but that's something you're hearing about on the news lately. And then our property taxes. And the district this year is proposing to go out at a 0% again this year. Our expenses again, 75 cents of every dollar goes towards our salaries and our benefits. Our facilities maintenance, we are in the process of completing a $21 million project at this point. Our curriculum development, technology, and again, our transportation, making sure that kids get back and forth to school safely. So our major budget considerations, our full phase-in of foundation aid, and I'll go on to explain that a little bit. That's a key factor to our state aid that we receive. Federal and state mandated items, our employee contracts, and the 2% tax levy limit or tax freeze. As you can see from 2008, our enrollment has steadily dropped in the district. We started at 2,156 in 2008. 2016, we're looking at 1,936 students. We're seeing that across the state. So it's not unique or Cortland County or Onondaga County. We're seeing that across the state. Looking at our live birth data, however, we're seeing that start to flatline now, and we're projecting an increase 3 years down the road. Our expenditures per pupil, again, from 10-11 to current, you can see a slight increase every year. And our state aid. This is our actual amount that we've received so far this year as compared to what's been proposed from the state. Foundation aid, as I had mentioned, that's our only allocation that we receive that's based on the number of kids in the district. So that's the only aid that we receive that isn't based on money already spent or money that you haven't already put towards a building project or towards buses. You can see our building aid, the second one down, that it will drop from this year to next year. Where you don't see yet is we haven't received our full building aid for the current project for this year, so that number will change a little bit. Dropping down, you can see transportation aid. Again, that has to do with our leasing of our buses. Where we would buy a bus, we'd pay out for that bus over 10 years. When we lease, we're actually paying out and receiving aid back in a shorter time period. That's why you see that increase. BOCES aid. We use OCM BOCES. We also use TST BOCES. Again, we can use shared services, and with that, we're relying more and more on shared services. We're receiving more aid back on that. Dropping down to the bottom, the computer, library, textbook, and hardware aid. Those are all categorical aids that you receive per pupil allocations based on the previous year's expenditures. So our state aid, based on last year's or this current year, we've seen $893,468 increase. Now I mentioned foundation aid and the full phase-in. There have been two very distinct court cases prior to 2007, 2008 that said that they need to release aid for all districts equally. And they're going to phase that in over time. However, the state hasn't started to phase in on that formula yet. They said this year would be the year. They started kind of a trickle in, but they really haven't fully phased in. The pyramids that are in front, the darker blue, those represent the money that we've received for foundation aid. The lighter blue behind them, if they had run the formula correctly for Homer schools and the other school districts here in central New York, you would have seen that increase. The difference there from 2007-8 to current, $53,604,225 that we would have seen provided to the district had they run the formula the correct way. The tax cap, you hear the 2% tax cap or the tax levy limit or tax levy threshold. As you can see in Homer's history since it was enacted, we really haven't had a 2% tax cap. There's a very unique formula that's used. And in the computations, they throw a lot of things into play. How much you've already paid in taxes, the consumer price index, which really relates to how much purchasing, buying is going on. And again, with this threshold in that, they also weigh in the use of your reserves. So has the district used the use of reserves to offset raising taxes? And that's important here. So as you look, this year, our tax levy threshold was 1.85%. What does that mean? Well, in a normal budget, in a vote, it would be 50% of the people plus one would pass a budget if you stayed at or under the tax levy threshold. If the district chose to go out higher than that 1.85%, we would need over 60% of our voters to say yes. In the last 3 years, we've gone out at zero. Well, why have we been able to do that? We've refinanced existing bonds from past capital projects, saving in excess of $600,000 by doing so. We reduced our debt service bonds. Next year, we had a project that was done in 2003. That bond is slowly coming off our rolls. That project itself was reduced by $1.5 million, the payment that we would have to make on it. Employee retirement and teacher retirement rates. I was going through and looking for information today for Mr. Armstrong. I look back in 1971, the teacher retirement system rate, or what the district has to pay into that, was 20%. That rate didn't change a lot in over 40 years. That rate in the last 3 years has dropped from 20%. So that's 20% we'd have to multiply by the total salaries of our teachers, teachers' assistants, and administrators. And that's what we pay back to the state. Well, in the last 3 years, it's dropped from close to 20%, now down to under 10%. That's a huge savings for the district. ERS, the employee retirement system, is slowly dropping there as well. So you're seeing a reduction in what we have to pay to the state. That's reflected back on our budget and reflected back on the savings to the taxpayers as well. Our enrollment has been dropping. We have reductions to staff due to retirements and attrition. When people retire, we don't necessarily fill those positions. It's, again, just good business for us. We don't have to lay new teachers off, but when the teachers retire, the last 2 years we've had 20 retirements. Now, I'm not saying we're not going to fill 20 positions, but we're being very frugal with how we take care of that. And again, using our reserves as part of a 5-year plan. So our revenues and expenditures, that state aid number is different. Why? Because that's what we budgeted based on their figures. There were some changes because everything hasn't been paid in yet for our debt service for our current project. So that's where the number is a little different from the previous slide. There's a change in aid. This shows a reduction in aid by that amount, But when you add in the debt service, it kind of levels it back through. Our local sources are E-rate, miscellaneous, any tuitions or payments the district receives. E-rate is money that we receive from the federal government for our technology purchases. Our reserves, our debt service. When we went out with our $20.9 million project, we said we are going to use some of our debt service reserves. This is all part of our plan. You see a reduction from last year. We've dropped it $15,000. Our fund balance, the state allows us to keep money in a planned fund balance, kind of a planned savings account that would move from year to year. We're trying to drop our reliance on having that, but in this case, we've kept it the same moving forward. Moving into 17-18, our total revenues and our total expenditures equal $40,884,142, a reduction in our budget of $1,002,296. Where did we have increases to our expenditures? Mandated special education increases, increases to health insurance premiums. They've gone up, folks, anywhere from 6 to 8% over the last 7 years, and they continue to go up. And that employee contractual obligations. So our propositions, when people come to vote next Tuesday on the 16th from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. at the old music building, our first proposition is either yes or no to vote to spend $40,884,142. Our second proposition, we are going into our 4th year of bus leasing. We have saved over $200,000 to the district, whether it be in maintenance and fuel and actually just service time in our bays. We are continuing. We're going to lease 7 more buses as part of our fleet. And we will be purchasing 2 of our vans, 2 of our Dodge Grand Caravans we do for smaller delivery of students and staff. Currently, some of our vans are at high mileage, greatly maintained, but at high mileage. We are going to use the 2 old vans as service vehicles in the district for our service employees, our electrician, and other service folks, our courier, and use the new vans for the students. And the last, as being good neighbors, our Phillips Free Library in Homer. They ask every year to put their proposition onto our vote. Next year, we'll be introducing one section. We're going to do a pilot program of pre-K. About 8 years ago, the district filed with the state in a pilot program. So they gave us $16,000, and I was the grant writer back then. So we had $16,000 to look into starting a program. We looked into starting a program, and it came time to be able to file for your new program. And about a week before that, the state said, we're freezing all pre-K money. So if you're in the program, you're in. If you're out, you're out. We still have not been able to jump back into the pre-K pool. So we're going to set out on our own. We're going to try next year to do a pilot program, one section of 16 students. We will offer transportation to 4-year-olds. It'll be a 4-year-old program. Students will participate in a regular day at Homer Elementary. Students will be selected, and right now we've just started to put out the applications in a lottery process, and it's stratified. And what that means is that it has to look like a regular classroom in Homer. So there have to be a certain amount of children with special needs or different socioeconomic classes, things of that nature. And we have to follow the state guidelines for that. Right now, because of retirements and with our enrollment down a bit, we're going to be able to staff it with a teacher and TA that currently are working in the district. So those folks will not lose their jobs. We have 3 Board of Education seats. Sonia Apker, Luke Marinas, and Bill Pedrick are the names of the current sitting board members. The candidates for these seats are Julie McChesney, Luke Marinas, and Sonia Apker. Again, our vote is next Tuesday, May 16th from 7 in the morning to 9 p.m. And we just have a short video for you just to kind of show you what's been going on in the district and what your tax money is providing for. Sound done?
Powering on. Welcome to All Tech Lansing.
I'd be happy to answer any questions on behalf of the district.
So with your pre-K program, is that going to be only for Homer districts, or because you're going to be integrating the special ed, will that be students outside?
Just that we're gonna do, I'm sorry, turn this off real quick.
Maybe not.
There we go. It'll just be for students in the Homer district in the first year of the pilot. Any other questions? Well, again, thank you very much, folks. We do appreciate it giving us time out with you tonight. Yeah.
Thanks for coming, Mike.
Thank you.
Okay. Tell Nancy we said hi.
I will.
Okay. Okay, next on our agenda, we have somebody who wants to present a proposal. Jessica Delia. For an outdoor library.
Hi, how are you?
I probably didn't spell your last name.
You said it right.
Okay.
I'm surprised.
Okay.
I wrote a letter to the board in regards to a little free library for in memory of I did a PowerPoint, but I just printed it out on my computer. See that. In memory of
Just stand over there. We're broadcasting this.
oh, okay.
There you go. There you go. So we
Oh.
can see. So the community can see.
So presenting this to the board for putting a little free library in the town of Preble for people to be able to come and take books, leave books. It's free. There's no cost involved. We would pay the cost for the box to put the books in. And I was looking for a place to put it. So that's why I wrote the letter to the board with any suggestions of where might be a more centrally located so that the whole community can use this service. There's a library in Tully and there's one in Homer, but there's nothing in Preble. And maybe there's some kids that really can't get to the library that they might like to read, and they can walk if it was centrally located, take a book. Even older people that may not be able to get to the library could use it in some way. So that's
Ideally, looking to put it more centrally located near the road where it can be seen for everybody to drive by, where people will know that it's there, and for kids to be able to access it too without being in danger of going to it. I put on the slideshow just some things, how you can benefit, how the community can benefit from having it. It actually has been proven that it increases literacy in communities that have these access to these libraries, not just for young people, but for older people who may have not been as educated as we're able to get education now. The box is very small. It's a little bit bigger than like a extravagant birdhouse. It sits on top of just a regular like beam foundation. And it has a glass door, so everything's protected. It's actually made like a house, so it has a roof on it. And we would like to just, it would say Little Free Library, but would also be donated in memory to the community for my daughter that had passed away. We also would be able to restock it because we started this year actually today's the first annual anniversary of her death, and I've been doing a book drive for used or new books. So for any reason, if it were to get low, we'd be able to restock that. So it would never be a matter of it sitting there empty. And because she only lives up the road, we're down here all the time to be able to check on it and make sure everything's going well. They do come with little guest books when you buy it, so people can put in any comments or requests or any concerns that they might have if we're not stocking it with enough books that the community needs. Then we can adjust that and put in those books. And we have a chance right now. They have just a special offer for the time being that if you purchase it while supplies last, we get a free $100 worth of books to start it off with.
There's one outside of Perkins Pancake House.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, right down in Cortland.
Oh, it's
So, yep. And so we go to breakfast there every once in a while. We drop off books, and it's amazing the turnover of books in that.
Oh yeah.
Samantha lives in Nedrow, so there's one just down the road from her house. So
Mhm.
whenever we drive by and it's empty, we throw books in it.
I actually have a Tupperware container in my car that I just keep full of books. So whenever I see a place, I drop them off.
I think the big thing here in Preble is where would we put something like this?
My suggestion.
I did
An
come meet
idea.
with, I met with Rick.
Mhm,
And Rick suggested either out front of this building
mhm,
or maybe the church.
mhm.
So I did also send a copy of my, I received a letter from Mrs. Putnam.
Deb Putnam?
Yes.
Yeah.
So which had some information requesting maybe the church. So I did send a letter to the
Mhm.
church with that request from her also to see if that was a suggested
Mhm,
place to put it.
mhm.
I haven't heard back from the church yet.
Um,
Who would do the actual installation?
We would.
They would take care of
What,
it.
yeah,
Well,
yep,
I'm just confirming that. I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I know you'll supply the materials.
yeah,
but
no,
you'll-
we would,
You'll actually do the
yeah,
drill the hole.
And maintenance too.
correct. Mhm.
Okay. So the town wouldn't have anything to do with it in terms of
No,
labor or work. or
no, just location,
Right.
that's all.
anything. Right.
And my thought was right out front, this tree here is a
Mhm.
little bit up away from the road.
Mhm,
Near that, right in front of it, would
mhm,
have kids away from the road. So if they wanted to access it, or even adults, that there isn't cars nearby that are driving up and down.
mhm.
There's parking spots, 200 and however many people are coming back here to check their PO boxes. So they're seeing it
There's traffic there.
directly. Yes.
Mhm.
And then the regular postal box that's out front that people use regularly. So
Mhm.
it's people know where it is. This is a
Mhm.
central location that the community uses already,
Right.
and it would be right there.
I'm just going to call on our highway superintendent, Jeff Griswold. Jeff, you have any questions? Do you see any concerns about this?
I just go back to my same thing, snow removal
Snow
in
removal.
the winter.
Okay.
Is the biggest thing I look at, is having it where it's accessible year round, correct? And is not gonna get, backed into or something, where it's, like you say, set aside where it can be gotten to.
The location that they're thinking of, right over here,
Mhm.
is that, what do you think about that? Is it going to get piled full of snow in the winter or?
Well, the catch is the snow goes both ways off of the walk coming to the building.
Mhm,
So there's right around that mailbox, it's kind of a pain to keep that clean because of
Mhm.
that. So, and halfway between, I don't know.
mhm.
And
Mhm.
I just found out about it minutes ago.
Right,
So I haven't really had time to think about it or pace it off.
right.
So if it's something the board wants to do, we can come up with a place to put it.
Mhm, mhm. I think of what Peter Knapp used to say on the board, and that is any new proposal like this, if there wasn't any major objections to it and it sounded like it was a good thing, that we would try it and see how it goes. And I can't see there being problems with it down the road, but if there are, then we would address those problems.
Which, I mean, you just
Yeah.
pull it out of the ground if it
Yeah.
became an issue.
Yeah. So I don't see any big issues with this or problems or anything. Any of the board members have questions?
They can get together with Jeff and find a common location. I think here would be better than the church. Nothing
Mhm.
against the church, but here it is a town hall. It would be
Mhm.
from the town.
Mhm.
No.
Right.
Keep that church and state separate.
And it takes about 5 to 6 weeks after ordering to get here, so we have time. It's not
Mhm.
like we have to jump right on.
Don, is this something we have to make a resolution for?
No, I think that
Just to make an agreement?
you've noted
Just
it
agree?
as you have, Jim, and I
Okay.
think it's fine.
Okay.
I just had a question. I mean, do you take book donations then?
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of like a penny jar, but for books. So you take one, you give one. You don't have to give. You can just take. And then like I said, I'm doing an annual book drive that I've been advertising more on social media, and we've had a pretty good turnout. Last year we did it in lieu of flowers for her service, and this year it's just been like to add to the collection, and we had donated to Galasanos and all the local doctor's offices and daycare centers and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And then this is just an expansion on that. We wanted to give people more access to those books in their homes too.
Okay.
Now, can anybody put books in there, or do
Sure.
they have to go through?
No.
Yep, anybody.
So, and then they're monitored. I mean, you stop by periodically and check, and
Yeah.
make sure there's no
Make-
books that shouldn't be in there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my only concern there. Just you never know.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, her PO box is out back, so she'll be
Oh,
here
yep.
pretty regularly, and she can check on that
Mhm.
to make sure that everything is fine.
Well, Dave has brought up a good point, and that is if somebody wants to put propaganda material in there for whatever ideology they have, who's going to monitor and say, well, this is a good book, this is a bad book? You would do that?
I'm not, I would hope that there's not.
Oh, we would
too
hope,
many,
right.
Crazy people out there.
Right, right.
Put anything in there that shouldn't be
Right.
put in there, but I mean, yeah, we can
Yeah.
look through the books.
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
make
I mean,
sure
I
that-
work in a public safety building. There is more than you think out there.
And, anybody is welcome to look through it too, anytime. And if you
Right.
saw something in there that you didn't feel was appropriate.
Just, you can remove it.
Okay.
And then you can write a note in the guest book too, if there has been, like just giving us a heads up, like, hey, I stopped by to donate some
Right.
books and I noticed.
You know,
that there
most time frame when it would drop,
Yeah, yeah.
possibly. So
Okay.
The only thing I'll bounce off is that maybe I'll chat with Ann Henderson, make sure she's, cool with it as far as historical significance of the building or anything like that.
Mhm.
Make her aware of what we're
Concerned.
trying to do. Keep everybody in the loop.
Okay. So we'll check with Ann Henderson, town historian. Whose phone number here? Who's the contact on this?
Do you have my phone number? Still?
I don't,
I can, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Either I have phone numbers.
Your contact, Jane, is it okay if you're the contact for her?
what is it?
607-745-6172.
It's in this letter that was provided. What's it? Yeah. Where's the contact? Oh, there's a contact number in the letter.
Oh,
In the letter.
yeah, I got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
good. Okay, so we'll go through our town historian, just
Okay.
okay it with her. And Jeff, our highway superintendent, knows about it, and maybe you could actually get together with him someday and just say, okay, this is exactly the place that we want to put it, so that it's in accordance with his snow removal and plowing and everything.
Okay,
And yeah, we can go ahead with this.
good.
on a
Good.
trial basis.
Thank you.
Thank
Huh?
you.
On a trial basis.
All right.
Yeah,
How's that?
right.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I think we have the right to terminate it
Yeah.
anytime we want.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just,
That's why I said, pull it out of, it's like a,
Yeah.
it's
Exactly.
Giant birdhouse.
a birdhouse or, yeah.
Birdhouse with
mailbox.
books.
Okay, well, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Jane?
Okay, thank you. Goodbye. Let's see, dog control. One stray dog running at large. The dog was unwanted. 105 miles traveled for the town. Justice report, $23,293 submitted to the town for April.
Thanks, Jane. Hire report, Jeff?
Yes, a lot going on. Uh, We had a request to do some improvements on Wright Road. I got a letter. I visited with people requesting that. I've also met with the landowners in the area, formulated a plan. Just heard back from Wagner Lumber that they're comfortable with what my 2 years outlook is. So to be continued, but that's moving along. Okay. There's an update for you and Jim. On the highway report, our chips breakdown. Albany's really good at cutting stuff into little pieces, so if something comes up missing, you don't seem to miss it as much. This year's bump in our chips money is being called Extreme Winter Recovery Money, EWR. A little over $12,000, which gives us a total of a little over $102,000 in state funding for roads. And here it is, we're just getting the snow to melt, and our salt order was due May 1st. Unique because the state requires tells us how much salt we're going to order, but we won't know the price on it until August. Kind of backwards from the normal bidding process. Let's see, that I'll cover later. The state also has declared, the governor has the snowstorm of March 14th and 15th a disaster, and it entailed the 3 southern tier counties, and us being a contiguous county got in on it. And now he's up to 28 counties that he's trying to come up with enough funding to make it a federal disaster. And then all I've got to do is send it to Washington and get President Trump to sign it. So there's about 8 hours worth of paperwork, and I don't know if we're going to see a nickel of that money. The other thing, just to let you know, I misprinted this. I'll be out of town Wednesday and Thursday at a state superintendent's meeting. And of course, all the big rage is town cleanup is going to be this Friday and Saturday from 7:30 to 3:30, pretty much like it has been the last few years. So, do I have any questions?
Jeff, what days are you going to be out?
Me?
Yeah.
Wednesday, Thursday. I
Okay,
had
it
it
says,
down there Thursday, Friday.
it says Thursday, Friday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Wednesday.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's the correction.
All right. Any questions for Jeff? Okay. Thanks, Jeff. Recreation. Anybody from Recreation? No. Okay. County Legislator Don Boyden is not here tonight. Jane?
Zoning and code, 7 building permits issued, 128 miles traveled to the town, 28 building inspections, 51 hours worked, 2 fire inspections, 5 complaint follow-ups, and 35 telephone inquiries. The planning board meeting is May 24th at 7 on Wednesday. ZBA meeting June 1st, 7:30, that's a Thursday.
Thanks, Jane. The town historian, Ian Henderson, is not here? Yes. Oh, okay. Jane?
We collected $1,285.30, dispersed $1,270.30 to the town of Preble, and $15 to New York State Egg and Markets. Tax collector, taxes collected to date, $1,635,290.
Thanks, Jane. We'll start with unfinished business. The highway garage is the first item on that list. So we want to get an update on this project. Jeff, can you give us a
Yeah.
little summary on
And
this?
I talked to Paul a little while ago. We're kind of in that, things are happening in stages, but it's just a matter of time.
Mhm.
We had the pre-bid meeting on Wednesday. There were 11 contractors there. Had a handful of questions. It's pretty well received, so that worked pretty well. Of course, the bid opening will be May 17th.
Mhm.
So at this point, it's just, Paul's got a few items for an addendum he's looking at for, probably put it out this Wednesday, so it'll be a full week before the bid opening. Everybody will have a chance to act on it. But there's been couple questions here and there, but he's handling all that.
Okay, so the bid opening is going to be here in this office?
Yep.
Okay. We probably can't have 3 board members here sitting at the table. No.
No.
So, okay.
I wouldn't.
Right, May 17th, I'm not going to be here on that day anyway, so we can have 2 board members, if you want to come and show up and just sit in on it. And,
Now, third or fourth and be out there waiting.
yeah,
in the
right.
car,
If there's
whatever.
3 of
Yeah,
us,
right.
somebody can just exit and go out there. But it would be good to
Be
have
good.
some board members here.
Absolutely.
to
It'd
listen.
be good to have one
Yeah.
or two anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
To supervise. And you won't be here, or will you, Jane? I mean, it's not a,
Is that a Wednesday?
Mhm.
What time is it?
11:30.
Lunchtime.
11? Oh, I'll be here.
well, yeah. If you could just maybe take some notes, not minutes,
Just some notes.
just notes. I would assume he's going to open bids. He's going to record stuff too, but if you could
Mhm.
just maybe make a quick list yourself. If you're here and if you could, great. If you can't, that's fine.
Basically, who's here, the time,
Yeah,
the numbers.
yeah,
and
that's all. Just
Everybody had it out. Yep.
because
Okay.
I'm sure Jeff's going to be kind of busy, and he'll help you with
Whatever.
that. And I'm sure Paul would be too, but it'd be a real help, I think.
Yeah, I won't be able to be here, so that's true.
Okay.
I can't be here.
Okay, so
You can't come here.
you can't come. So
So it's just.
if you guys can make it,
Should be.
that would be great. Okay. On May 24th, we're going to be awarding the contracts. And
If everything comes back favorable, yes.
if everything
Right.
goes back for, right,
Review.
but that's on our list, on our calendar anyway. And
So there's a ZBA planning meeting that same day. That's what I was going to.
on the 24th?
Yeah.
Okay.
We just.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. The 24th at 7:00. Did we set a time for the 24th for ourselves last time?
I don't know that there was.
Okay.
See?
Earlier.
Oh,
Okay, yeah. Didn't take too long. Paul's already done the work for us and he's gonna basically tell us who he recommends. 24th. Originally, we said 7:00 on the 24th, but we're gonna have to make it 6:00, the 24th. 6 p.m.
Or how about 5:30? Is that, can we do 5:30?
You have a conflict?
No,
Oh, okay.
I could have a conflict.
Could make it at 5:30. Is everybody okay with 5:30?
mhm.
What date was that?
24.
24.
On the 24th, yeah. 5:30?
Yep.
Okay.
Could you just put that in the form of a resolution, somebody?
I move that we have the special meeting to award the highway garage contracts on Wednesday, the 24th at 5:30 p.m.
I second it.
All in favor?
Right.
Carried?
Thank you.
Okay. Award the bids at 5:30 on Wednesday, the 24th.
We'll get you a copy of the notice so you can put it in the website. And Jane will get you a copy to post, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anything else that we need to talk about the highway garage right now? Or we pretty much covered everything?
At this point, we're there.
Okay. Next item is the ongoing drama of this building and the property. Deed to the property. Don, Can you give us an update on this?
Yeah, we've made some recent progress. I spoke with the school district's attorney today, Mike Condon, and I think he's got a good introductory understanding of the circumstances. And I was hoping, and Mike, I also talked to Mike, Mike Falls today, he's the, what is he, the district business director, I think. He's the fellow that just made that presentation. And he's had that folder, and I wasn't sure if what he had was the original deed or a copy, and it is a copy. So I don't know if anyone's, as I say that, I think to myself, has anyone looked through our records back in the late 60s, early 70s? I don't know if there's filed chronologically at all, but it would be worth, you know, just like they pulled up this, they were kind enough to look, and they did find this file that is very helpful, even though it doesn't have an original document in it. No one knew it was there.
Right.
And I guess similarly, you know, we tried getting hold of Ann. I don't know if Ann's well or not well, but
She's well.
I don't know
Sometimes.
if she might. I can try and reach out to her again and see if we might, just for kicks, look in our own records.
Well, I can call her.
Okay, appreciate that. Could she make a search? I don't think she has. Maybe she has. But aside from that, you know, assuming we don't get lucky and find that, it may be that there needs to be a formal discussion by the school board to reissue. They could reissue another deed, transferring ownership, and based upon all the circumstances. It's pretty clear that the intent was to transfer. I think, as I mentioned in the last meeting, it was what, a $5,000 or $6,000 price. Who knows as far as finding any records whether it was ever paid or not. But obviously, we've kept and maintained this building for 40 years, 50 years, close to it, 45 to 50. So I you know, they hear where we're coming from. They understand our issue, and you know, I expect to have further communications and hopefully some better indication how to get resolved from their end within the next couple of weeks.
Has the post office, USPS, contacted you to?
Haven't heard a thing.
Okay. So they're not desperate to find this information, but you know, we should clear it up.
Yep.
Okay.
I assume they're not paying their
That's
lease.
right. They put the ball in our court. They're not going to increase the monthly amount until they see our ownership.
Okay.
They'll
Hence
pay
they're
it.
not pushing
All right.
us.
They'll bring
All
it
right.
current.
We just have to prove ownership first.
That's right.
All right. Okay. So, all right. So we're continuing to work on that. Moving to new business. We need to, I met with Linda Armstrong a week or so ago, and we talked about something about the block grant money, these block grants that we get in. There's sort of a technicality with this that kind of works in our favor. And what she was talking about, and she's from Toma Development, in case anybody doesn't know. And they administer and they maintain the block grants that we have here. So what she was saying, that there's something called program income. And there's program income, and there's different categories of program income, but the program income that we get, we are able to use some of that money for our highway garage. And it's about $20,000 a year. So she okayed it, and she said we're able to use it. The thing that we have to do is we have to establish a bank account at NBT Bank called miscellaneous income account. And so that program income will go into this miscellaneous income account, and we can draw it from there and use it for the highway garage. So we need a resolution.
20,000 a year till it's gone, or 20,000 one shot deal, or what is the?
20,000 a year approximately, as long as we have program income. So it's not going to last forever, but
Right.
for the next several years in the future, we'll have it. So that can be applied to the garage. And then we also talked about the interest money from Best Deck, and that could be applied. We were talking about the application of that too. So, so those two things would go into this miscellaneous income account. And so we need a resolution because I can't go to NBT and open up a bank account for the town of Preble myself. So they need, NBT needs to see the minutes that we made a resolution to open up this bank account under this name.
I make a resolution that we open a miscellaneous income account with MBT Bank.
And then do you need any additional language as far as the authorized signatory? Is there one or two signatures
There
on the
should be
account?
two signatures. I would be a signator and probably Linda too, being deputy
Okay,
supervisor.
so those, and I don't know if you specifically just say your two names or you say supervisor, deputy supervisor, presently
Probably the best way to say it.
Yeah.
presently Jim and Linda.
Right, right.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Okay, next item, Memorial Day Parade. The annual event in Preble is coming up at the end of this month. And everybody does a little something to help out normally if you're in town. I know, Dave,
Yeah,
you're the
I'll
ice
do
cream
that.
man, right?
And the signs, I put the signs up.
Okay.
Ice cream and the signs.
Ice
And
cream
you
and
need
signs.
to call Mark or email Mark with a time. Last year we got in a pinch here and they got here a little late. There was a confusion about the time.
About the sheriff
Yes.
closing
yeah.
off the road. Right, right. Yep. Yep. Yeah, they apologized profusely over that situation last year because I did call 2 weeks beforehand. I asked for the sheriff to be there and they said, okay, we'll be there. And they didn't show up.
Yeah, there was a confusion. It was busy that day
yeah.
too. I mean, and they come right from Marathon. So Marathon,
Right.
and then they come up here
Right.
right up 81. So
So fortunately, things worked out for us. We had some fire department guys that got out on the road and stopped traffic, and it all went well.
he does need, for his records, an email or
An email.
request.
Okay. Okay.
I'll do the signs for the cars again.
Signs for the cars. Okay, good. That's a big help, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah. And are you guys going to be around
Yep.
for that weekend?
And I'll be happy to help.
Okay.
You know, so let me
Okay.
know. I mean, I'm happy to help you with signs or whatever makes sense.
Somebody needs help.
Okay.
Give me a call.
I still
Okay,
got some steaks. So
Good. Does anybody have a car they can use in the parade? Like if you have a nice shiny car or something?
Are we?
American made.
Yeah. That's always the
Oh, okay.
stick one.
Should be.
mine's not quite as shiny and new, but it'll probably work.
But if
I
it's
have a nice
American
new
made,
car.
yeah.
It's not
I bought a-
American
I
made
bought a
though.
pickup truck.
Pickup truck that can
About
probably
4
work.
people. Fine.
Yeah, yeah, that would work. Okay, okay.
Yeah, but
So if
my
you could
husband's
donate a
truck.
pickup truck, that would be great. So I'll start working on that, on getting the names together, and I'll be in touch with Linda.
Okay.
I'll be in touch with Al. I'll be in touch with all of you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Money that came in for this month, we received $105,245.03 from the first quarter sales tax for Cortland County. We received $8,800.26 from snowplowing contract from Cortland County also.
How did that 105 compare to the budget projections?
I don't know. I haven't really looked at it in that way yet.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's, it's good to monitor these things to see if we're on
I just
track.
don't know if that's good or bad.
The easy way to do this is just call Gina Norris, our bookkeeper, and she will be able to tell you exactly. She has the numbers memorized in her head of everything that we need. So she'll be able to tell you that. Next, we come to public comment. If anybody in the audience has any questions or comments for the town board, feel free to ask questions, make comments. Okay. Nobody has anything to say tonight. We need a motion to pay the general fund vouchers.
I make a motion to pay general fund vouchers abstracts 5, number 93 to 117, totaling $9,737.58.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. We also need a motion to pay the highway fund vouchers.
I'll make a motion to pay the highway fund vouchers abstract number 5 numbers 32 to 38 totaling $2,030.18.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Need a motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned.
Second, Kristen? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
Who seconded that?
You had two, take your choice. I don't know who
Yeah,
came in
yeah,
under the
let me-
wire first. So the contract